Welcome to a transformative journey through the depths of rejection and the heights of personal triumph. Inspired by the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, today we'll delve into how rejection, rather than a source of pain, can become a powerful catalyst for growth. As we explore these 13 lessons, you'll discover that every no is not a dead end, but a doorway to resilience, self-mastery, and even success. Why should you watch this video until the very end? Because rejection is something we all face, and often more than once in our lives. Whether in relationships, work, or personal pursuits, rejection can sting. But what if I told you that the way you respond to rejection defines not only who you are, but also who you will become? By watching to the end, you will gain practical, life-changing strategies grounded in Stoic philosophy to handle rejection with strength, grace, and wisdom. Let's embrace this journey together. 1. Prove them wrong. Use rejection as fuel for growth. Have you ever felt the sharp sting of someone doubting your abilities? It's a feeling many of us know all too well. When someone rejects you, either by telling you that you're not capable or by subtly ignoring your efforts, the natural response is often emotional, frustration, anger, or sadness. But Stoicism teaches us that these emotions should not be what define our reaction. Instead, we can transform that rejection into something far more valuable: motivation. How often do we let others' opinions dictate how we see ourselves? What if, instead of letting rejection lower our self-worth, we used it as a stepping stone to reach even higher? Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, often reflected on this idea. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the very obstacle in your path can propel you forward, if you let it. Imagine this. Someone tells you that you're not creative enough, or that you don't have the skills necessary for a task. Instead of reacting emotionally, you use that doubt as a challenge. You begin to practice harder, study more diligently, and put in the effort that even you didn't know you were capable of. And in the process, you not only prove them wrong, but more importantly, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. Rejection, when framed in this way, becomes not a judgment on your abilities, but an opportunity to grow beyond what you believed possible. So the next time someone doubts you, ask yourself, am I going to let this define me, or am I going to let it fuel me? Your journey of self-improvement will ultimately redefine not only how others see you, but how you see yourself. Remember, Stoicism teaches that we cannot control others' opinions of us, but we can control our response to those opinions. And in choosing to use rejection as fuel for growth, you demonstrate not just resilience, but true strength. Now that we've explored how to use rejection to fuel our growth, let's dive deeper into how we can maintain emotional stability in the face of rejection in the next lesson. 2. Act as if they don't exist. Maintain your peace by letting go. How often do we allow the opinions or actions of others to disturb our peace of mind? It's all too easy to let rejection consume us, leading us to dwell on how we've been ignored or overlooked. But in the philosophy of Stoicism, we learn that what others think or do is beyond our control. What we can control is how we respond. When someone rejects you, treats you with indifference, or dismisses you altogether, it's tempting to try to win back their attention or validation. But is it worth it? Why should you waste your energy on someone who doesn't recognize your value? Instead, consider the Stoic approach. Act as if they don't exist. This doesn't mean being cold or callous. It simply means choosing not to invest your emotional energy in those who have rejected you. By doing so, you reclaim your power. You are not defined by others' approval. You are defined by your own sense of self-worth. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Similarly, if someone's rejection is not a reflection of your true value, why should it disturb your peace? By acting as if they don't exist, you're not ignoring reality. You're simply prioritizing your well-being. You are choosing to focus on what you can control: your actions, your goals, your happiness. In doing so, you rise above the rejection and show that your sense of self is not dependent on anyone else. So, the next time someone dismisses you, ask yourself, do I want to spend my energy on this person, or would I rather invest it in myself? By choosing the latter, you maintain your peace of mind and demonstrate true emotional mastery. As we continue, let's now look at how we can respond to rejection without letting our emotions take control. 3. Don't react emotionally. Control your response to rejection. Rejection hurts. There's no denying that. Whether it's being turned down for a job, ignored by someone you care about, or dismissed by colleagues, the sting of rejection can trigger a wave of emotions. But here's the question: are those emotions serving you, or are they controlling you? According to Stoicism, emotional reactions are natural, but they are not inevitable. We can choose to control how we respond. When someone rejects you, it's easy to let frustration, anger, or sadness take over. But the Stoic response is to pause, reflect, and remain calm. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. The key here is understanding that rejection is an external event. You cannot control how others perceive you, but what you can control is how you internalize that rejection. So, when you feel the sting of rejection, don't let your emotions run wild. Instead, take a step back and ask yourself, why does this rejection bother me? Is it because of the rejection itself, or is it because it's triggering deeper insecurities within me? By understanding the root of your emotions, you can begin to dismantle them. Stoics believe that by mastering our emotions, we gain true freedom. Instead of being reactive, we become proactive. We can choose to remain calm in the face of rejection, to focus on our goals, and to not let someone else's opinion define our sense of worth. This is not about suppressing your feelings. It's about not letting them control you. By practicing this calmness in the face of rejection, you grow stronger. You learn that your peace of mind is not dependent on external circumstances, but on your inner resilience. Now that we've explored how to control our emotions in response to rejection, let's move on to how we can cultivate detachment and move forward. 4. Remove them from your mind. Harness the power of detachment. Detachment is a fundamental concept in Stoicism, and it's one of the most powerful tools we have when dealing with rejection. But what does it mean to practice detachment in the face of rejection? How can we let go without suppressing our emotions? To detach does not mean to ignore or deny the pain of rejection. In fact, Stoicism teaches us to acknowledge our feelings fully. But once we've acknowledged them, the next step is to release them. We must not allow rejection to take root in our minds and weigh us down. Think of rejection as a passing storm. Yes, it's unpleasant, and it may shake you for a moment, but it does not define the entirety of your life. The storm will pass, and the sun will shine again, but only if you allow it to. If you cling to the storm, if you let it settle in your mind, you will remain stuck in that place of hurt. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If your thoughts are consumed with rejection, your soul will be weighed down by it. But if you choose to focus on what enriches your life, you can rise above the pain. How do we remove rejection from our minds? By shifting our focus. Engage in activities that challenge you, inspire you, and bring you joy. Surround yourself with people who value and support you. Every time the thought of rejection surfaces, gently remind yourself that it does not define you. Ask yourself, is this rejection worth my energy? What can I focus on that will bring me closer to my goals? By practicing detachment, you free yourself from the weight of rejection and open the door to new possibilities. As we detach from rejection, let's explore how we can demonstrate our value in the face of being overlooked. 5. Demonstrate your value. Shine brighter through adversity. When you're rejected or overlooked, it's easy to feel as though your value has diminished. But here's a truth rooted in Stoicism. Your value is intrinsic. It does not depend on others' recognition of it. Just because someone does not see your worth does not mean that it is not there. So, how can you demonstrate your value when faced with rejection? By not letting the rejection define you. Instead, use it as an opportunity to showcase your skills, your resilience, and your strength. When someone overlooks you, don't respond with bitterness or self-pity. Respond with action. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. In other words, don't waste time trying to prove yourself to others. Simply be the best version of yourself and let your actions speak for themselves. Rejection is not the end of your story. It's an opportunity to shine even brighter. Whether it's a project at work, a personal passion, or a relationship, continue to give your best effort. Your value is not diminished by someone's failure to see it. In fact, Stoicism teaches that our worth is not tied to external recognition, but to our own sense of purpose and virtue. So, the next time you're overlooked, ask yourself, how can I use this as an opportunity to grow? Instead of seeking validation from others, focus on demonstrating your value through your actions. Your persistence, dedication, and excellence will speak louder than any rejection. Now that we've explored how to demonstrate our value, let's consider the strategic power of silence in response to rejection. 6. Give them the silent treatment. Reclaim your power through silence. Silence can be one of the most powerful responses to rejection. But why? In a world where we are often encouraged to react, to explain ourselves, or to seek closure, silence offers something different. Control. When someone rejects you, the instinctive response might be to reach out, to bridge the gap, to try to fix the situation. But what if instead you chose silence? This isn't about playing games or being manipulative. It's about reclaiming your power and allowing yourself the space to reflect. Stoicism teaches that silence is not passive. It's active and intentional. Marcus Aurelius said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Silence gives you the opportunity to listen to yourself, to reflect on your emotions, and gain clarity about what truly matters to you. By choosing not to react immediately, you avoid the trap of acting out of desperation or insecurity. You give yourself time to process the rejection and respond from a place of strength rather than weakness. Ask yourself, what would I gain from responding right now? Am I seeking validation, or am I seeking clarity within myself? Often, The answer lies in allowing yourself the space to reflect. By remaining silent, you show that your self-worth is not dependent on someone else's acknowledgement. As we embrace the power of silence, let's move on to how cutting off contact can create a boundary of respect. 7. Cut off contact. Set boundaries for your emotional well-being. In the face of rejection, it's tempting to chase after the person who has turned you down or ignored you. But sometimes, the most empowering thing you can do is to cut off contact. This isn't about punishment or revenge. It's about setting a boundary for your own emotional well-being. Stoicism teaches that we must prioritize our inner peace. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of maintaining our tranquility, regardless of external circumstances. When someone rejects you, continuing to pursue their attention only disturbs your peace. Instead, by cutting off contact, you create space for healing and growth. Ask yourself, is this person's validation worth my peace? What am I gaining by keeping this connection alive? Cutting off contact isn't an act of anger or bitterness. It's a strategic decision to protect your emotional energy. By choosing to step back, you're not running away from the rejection. You're simply choosing to invest your energy where it will be appreciated and reciprocated. And in doing so, you respect not only your own boundaries, but also your own self-worth. Now that we've established the importance of setting boundaries, let's discuss how ignoring rejection can help us rise above it. 8. Ignore them. Choose to rise above indifference. Rejection often comes in the form of indifference, whether it's being ignored by a friend, overlooked for a job, or dismissed in a social setting. Indifference can sting just as much as an outright rejection. But how do we rise above it? How do we maintain our sense of self-worth when someone doesn't even acknowledge us? Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control others' actions, only our response to them. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the best revenge is to be unlike the one who caused the injury. In other words, don't lower yourself to the level of those who ignore you. Instead, rise above it. When someone treats you with indifference, the Stoic response is to ignore their behavior. This doesn't mean pretending that it didn't hurt. It means choosing not to engage with it. By ignoring them, you show that your sense of self is not dependent on their acknowledgement. Ask yourself, is this person's indifference a reflection of my worth, or is it a reflection of their own limitations? By choosing to ignore their behavior, you take back control of your emotional energy. You focus on your goals, your happiness, and your personal growth. In doing so, you demonstrate true resilience. You show that you are not swayed by others' opinions or actions, that your sense of self-worth comes from within. Now that we've learned how to rise above indifference, let's explore how we can actively demonstrate our value in the face of rejection. 9. Demonstrate your value. Showcase your strengths through action. Rejection can often make us question our worth, but here's the truth. Your value does not decrease just because someone else fails to see it. In fact, rejection offers an opportunity to demonstrate your value in a way that is authentic and powerful. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane. In other words, don't seek validation from others, especially those who do not recognize your worth. Instead, focus on demonstrating your value through your actions. When someone rejects you, take it as a challenge to show what you're truly capable of. Whether it's at work, in a relationship, or in a personal pursuit, Let your actions speak louder than words. Your resilience, dedication, and excellence will shine through, regardless of whether others acknowledge it. Ask yourself, how can I demonstrate my value in a way that is true to myself? Rather than seeking approval, focus on doing the best work you can, living authentically, and staying committed to your goals. By demonstrating your value, you show that rejection is not the end of the story. It's simply a chapter that leads to growth and self-discovery. As we continue, let's discuss the importance of maintaining emotional distance in the face of indifference. 10. Be kind but emotionally distant. Protect your inner peace. When someone rejects you or treats you with indifference, it's natural to feel hurt. But how do you respond with kindness without becoming emotionally invested? The key lies in maintaining emotional distance. Stoicism teaches us that while we should always strive to act with kindness and integrity, we must also protect our inner peace. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In other words, you can choose to respond with kindness while keeping your emotional boundaries intact. When faced with rejection, offer a polite smile, a kind word, or a simple gesture of goodwill, but do so without expecting anything in return. Your kindness is not a transaction, it's a reflection of your character. At the same time, maintain emotional distance to protect yourself from being hurt further. Ask yourself, how can I be kind without becoming emotionally vulnerable? By practicing emotional detachment, you show that your sense of peace is not dependent on others' actions. You maintain your dignity and self-respect, regardless of how others treat you. As we practice kindness and emotional distance, let's explore how we can cultivate inner resilience by not revealing our struggles. 11. Don't reveal your struggle. Embrace inner strength. One of the most powerful lessons in Stoicism is the importance of maintaining composure in the face of adversity. When someone rejects you or treats you with indifference, the temptation to reveal your struggles can be overwhelming. But true strength lies in keeping those struggles private and finding peace within yourself. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of emotional resilience. He said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If you allow rejection to consume your thoughts and emotions, it will shape your reality. But if you choose to remain composed, to focus on your strengths and your inner peace, you'll rise above the rejection." This doesn't mean pretending that everything is fine. It means acknowledging your feelings, but not allowing them to control you. By not revealing your struggles to others, you demonstrate that your sense of self-worth is independent of their opinions. Ask yourself, do I need to share my struggle, or can I find strength in keeping it private? By embracing inner strength, you show that rejection does not define you. It simply shapes your journey toward greater resilience and wisdom. Now that we've explored how to embrace inner strength, let's dive into how we can transform rejection into a stepping stone for personal growth. 12. Turn rejection into a stepping stone. Grow from every setback. Stoicism teaches us that every obstacle is an opportunity for growth. When we face rejection, it's easy to see it as a failure or a setback. But what if we reframed it? What if we viewed every rejection as a stepping stone on our journey toward becoming the best version of ourselves? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, rejection is not a roadblock. It's a detour that leads to new opportunities. It's a chance to reassess, realign, and refocus. When you're rejected, ask yourself, What can I learn from this? How can I grow? Instead of dwelling on the rejection, use it as a catalyst for self-improvement. Whether it's developing new skills, strengthening your resilience, or deepening your self-awareness, every rejection has something to teach you. By turning rejection into a stepping stone, you transform it from a source of pain into a source of strength. You grow not in spite of rejection, but because of it. As we continue, let's explore how we can take practical action by proving ourselves through consistent efforts. 13. Prove them wrong. Quietly build your fortress of resilience. The final lesson in this journey through rejection is perhaps the most empowering. Prove them wrong, not through words, but through actions. When someone doubts your abilities or rejects you, the instinctive response might be to argue or to seek validation. But Stoicism teaches us that true strength is demonstrated through action, not words. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." In other words, don't waste time trying to convince others of your worth. Instead, focus on becoming the best version of yourself. When someone rejects you or questions your abilities, take it as an opportunity to sharpen your skills, deepen your knowledge, and grow beyond your previous limits. But don't do it for their approval. Do it for yourself. Ask yourself, what can I do today to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient? By focusing on self-improvement, you build a quiet fortress of resilience, one that no amount of rejection can tear down. In this journey through rejection, we've explored 13 powerful lessons inspired by the wisdom of Stoicism. From maintaining emotional composure to embracing silence, from demonstrating our value through action to proving ourselves wrong, each lesson offers a practical way to turn rejection into a tool for personal growth. Now, I challenge you to take these lessons and apply them to your life. Rejection is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new chapter, one in which you grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. If you've found value in these insights, I encourage you to leave a comment below and share your own experiences with rejection. How have you transformed rejection into an opportunity for growth? Your stories can inspire others on their own journeys. And if you haven't already, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell to stay updated with more wisdom inspired by Stoicism. Share this video with others who might benefit from these lessons, and let's continue to build a community of resilience, strength, and wisdom. Thank you for watching, and may you continue to rise above every rejection with grace, strength, and inner peace. Stay stoic, my friends.